Hello everyone, welcome to our channel, the Sussex Royal Chronicles. Kindly like and subscribe, and let's delve in. Shola Mos-Shogbamimu provides a powerful and unapologetic analysis of the racism embedded within the British royal family, arguing that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's revelations have made it impossible to ignore the institution's deeply entrenched discriminatory practices. Her critical perspective highlights how the couple's candid interviews and public statements have systematically dismantled the monarchy's carefully constructed facade of inclusivity, bringing stark attention to the pervasive racial prejudices that have long been whispered about but rarely confronted so directly. By speaking out about their personal experiences of racism within the royal institution, Harry and Meghan have forced a national and international conversation about systemic racism, challenging long-standing narratives of royal infallibility and exposing the complex power dynamics that have historically silenced and marginalized individuals of color within elite British social structures. The royal controversy: Meghan and Harry expose systemic racism. The now infamous Oprah Winfrey interview became a seismic moment in royal history, with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry delivering explosive allegations that struck at the very heart of the British monarchy's carefully maintained facade. In a raw and unfiltered conversation, the couple revealed deeply troubling claims of institutional racism, most shocking among them being the unnamed royal family member who expressed concern about the potential skin color of their unborn child, Archie. This wasn't merely a personal grievance, but a damning indictment of the systemic prejudices that persist within one of the world's most prestigious institutions, laying bare the uncomfortable truth that even the most privileged spaces are not immune to racial bias. The interview sent shockwaves through the royal establishment, forcing a public reckoning with questions of race, privilege, and the toxic undercurrents that have long been whispered about but rarely confronted so directly. The royal family's legacy of systemic racism and institutional neglect has been painfully exposed through Harry and Meghan's revelations, laying bare a toxic institutional culture that has long suppressed and marginalized those who deviate from its traditional white aristocratic norms. By systematically dismissing Meghan's mental health struggles and concerns about racial discrimination, the monarchy demonstrated a callous disregard for her personal well-being, revealing how deeply ingrained prejudice runs through the royal corridors of power. The couple's courageous public stand not only challenged centuries of imperial privilege, but also highlighted the royal institution's failure to evolve and embrace genuine diversity, showing that beneath the polished ceremonial facade lies a fundamentally exclusionary system that protects its own outdated and harmful hierarchical structures at the expense of individual humanity and dignity. Royal Racism Exposed: A Critical Examination of the Monarchy's Systemic Prejudice. Dr. Shola Mos-Shogbamimu's incisive commentary cuts through the royal family's carefully constructed facade, unequivocally exposing the deeply entrenched racism that permeates the British monarchy's institutional core. With surgical precision, she highlights how Harry and Meghan's revelations are not merely isolated incidents, but symptomatic of a systemic problem that has historically marginalized and silenced people of color within the royal establishment. By amplifying their experiences, Dr. Shola demands not just acknowledgement, but genuine accountability, calling for substantive structural changes that go beyond performative gestures and public relations strategies. Her critique underscores the urgent need for the monarchy to confront its racist legacy, challenging the institution to dismantle the long-standing prejudices that have defined its interactions with diversity and representation. Harry and Meghan: A Royal Reckoning with Institutional Racism. The revelations from Harry and Meghan's explosive interview sent shockwaves through the royal institution, fundamentally challenging its carefully cultivated image of nobility and progressiveness. The accusations of racism within the royal family's inner circles exposed deep-seated systemic biases that could no longer be dismissed as isolated incidents, compelling the monarchy to confront its historically problematic relationship with race and privilege. This unprecedented public scrutiny threatened to erode the royal family's carefully maintained reputation, forcing a painful and long-overdue examination of its internal cultural dynamics. Moreover, the global discourse sparked by their allegations created a potential catalyst for meaningful institutional reform, pushing the royal establishment toward a more transparent and inclusive future, where outdated hierarchical and racial prejudices could no longer be concealed behind palace walls. The royal reckoning confronting systemic racism in the British monarchy. Addressing racial biases within the royal family demands more than token gestures or carefully crafted statements. It requires genuine introspection and transformative action. The path forward necessitates a radical commitment to transparency, where institutional prejudices are candidly acknowledged and systematically dismantled. By embracing inclusive practices and demonstrating real accountability, the monarchy has a unique opportunity to lead societal change, transforming from an archaic symbol of colonial privilege to a progressive institution that genuinely reflects contemporary values of equality and mutual respect. This moment is not just about Harry and Meghan's revelations, but about a broader reckoning with deep-rooted systemic racism that has long been camouflaged behind royal protocol and diplomatic niceties.